Tonight on News 5 Live, Tyrone King is pursued and gunned down inside his home on Gao Street. Belizeans beware, a phishing scam is aimed at unsuspecting bank customers. And gas prices continue to soar. We'll tell you what motorists are doing to offset their ballooning fuel budget. These stories and more coming up on News 5 Live.
I'm always on the go, and the country is my home. So when I want to get away from it all, I immerse myself with my favorite movies, all from the new Smartstream app. It's easy to use this service. Purchase your movies from the app and use your mobile data, Smartstream data packages, or smart broadband to stream and enjoy. Be like me and stream on the go with Smartstream.
Welcome to Design Depot, all in one place. Shop brands you know and trust, like Kohler. Welcome, GE Appliances.
Welcome.
Oran Windows.
Welcome.
Tiles from around the world.
Welcome.
Sherwin-Williams Paint and Coating. Visit us today at Mile 3 on the Philip Golson Highway or call us at 223-3768. Design Depot. All in one place.
Todo beliceño merece tener una conexión de internet de calidad, rápida y confiable en su hogar. Para clases en línea y trabajo desde casa, es la nueva forma de vida. DigiNet es el proveedor número 1 de servicio de fibra óptica, impulsando la transición digital de Belice. Y ahora nuestro servicio de DigiNet es aún más accesible con nuestro nuevo plan de entrada. Por tiempo limitado, tú y tu familia pueden disfrutar de 20 megabits por segundo por solamente $49 mensuales. No más clases perdidas ni reuniones virtuales interrumpidas. Te está costando mucho tiempo y dinero. DigiNet es mejor que cualquier opción de cable o servicio inalámbrico. Visita cualquier Digistore hoy y suscríbete para la conexión más rápida y confiable de Internet para el hogar en Belice. Ven a ver lo que te has estado perdiendo. El mismo servicio de fibra de alta calidad, rápido y confiable, ahora a un precio aún más bajo. Para más información, visita www.livedigi.com/DigiNet. Digi, nuestra telecomunicación nacional.
newscast is brought to you by the Belize Bank Limited. Our country, your bank.
Good evening and welcome to News 5 Live for Wednesday, July 6th. I am Sabrina Daly. Another young Belize City man is dead after he was targeted at his place of residence in the Lake Independence area of Belize City. The police have not spared much information about the incident, except to say that it happened at 8022 Gile Street at around 9:40 p.m. and claimed the life of Tyrone King. King's sister, Shakira Young Forrester, and her family are no strangers to gun violence. She has already lost a young son, and another brother died only 4 months ago. But he too had been shot several times some years ago. Forrester told reporters today that the crime scourge has grown so bad in Belize City now that there's no difference of the area where one lives because pain as a result of bloodshed is fast becoming a norm in the old capital. News 5's Marian Ali reports.
26-year-old Tyrone King had reportedly just opened the front door of the house which he shared with his common-law wife when someone accosted him in the hall and shot him. King collapsed and died slumped over near a sofa with 2 bullet wounds to the back. When News 5 went to the address today, it was closed shut with no one in sight. Neighbors reportedly saw nothing, heard nothing. Police have recovered 3 expended shells from the scene and are trying to solve this latest homicide. But King's sister, Shakira Young Forrester, says the family has little to no hope that anything substantial will result from the investigation because they have suffered loss before with no concrete outcome.
I expect nothing of them because they have done nothing for us. And they keep doing nothing for us. They keep failing us as a people. They keep failing us as a nation.
Forrester reminisced about the brother she described as the life of wherever he was. And this amateur recording, taken off a Facebook post, suggests that he loved comedy.
Love running jokes, love cracking jokes, but you know, at the same time, we all know that he had his own life struggles, just like everybody else. But overall, he was a loving and sweet person.
But while he was fun-loving and loved making people laugh, Forrester said her brother had some run-ins with people, but they didn't think it had reached the point of being life-threatening.
But it's not as if he came to us and said, X person wanted me dead or Y has it out for me. You know, we know that, of course, he did not make all the best decisions in life, but we don't know, who exactly is responsible. We don't know why they would want to do it.
The Young family has just buried another son and brother, Aaron, who fell ill and never recovered, and who, in 2018, had also been shot. And in November of 2016, Forrester's 7-year-old son, Tyler Savory, was shot and killed as he hitched a ride on a bicycle on a Friday evening after school with his older cousin, Portian Pipersberg. The two were heading to an ice cream shop for a treat when they came under attack. Prior to that, young Tyler's father was also gunned down. The mental and emotional anguish over the repeat losses is something the family has somehow learned to cope with.
We don't allow the circumstances of life to keep us down because we understand that this is what is going to happen. We just didn't expect it this early, just short time span, but it is what is happening now. You watch the news until eventually you become the news.
The family is also critical of the way Belizeans respond when they witness violence and also expect little help solving this latest murder.
I've come to realize that we are suffering an epidemic that came before the pandemic, and it is us being a nation that lacks love. And so if you look at things right now, you would see people minding their own business if somebody's being beaten on the street. If somebody's being shot, they would prefer taking out their phones. If I am dying right now or if I crash, they would more focus on taking my pictures and being the first to post the video or the picture rather than actually supporting or seeing how they can be of help.
King was the father of a son aged 5. Reporting for News 5, I'm Marion Ali.
A man was found guilty this afternoon of the murder of his uncle, and while he will be sentenced later this month along with a friend who was also convicted of the same crime, 19-year-old Rahim Boudran and 21-year-old Kareem Egan Jr. were both found guilty today of the murder of 43-year-old Shane Boudran. The incident occurred on the night of February 21st, 2020 on Wagner's Lane, also known as Jump Street. Justice Ricardo O'Neill Sandcroft, who tried the case without a jury, handed down his ruling, in which he explained that the burden of proof beyond a reasonable doubt lies on the Crown. The judge concluded that identification was not an issue for the Crown's main witness, since they knew the suspects well. He also found that another of the Crown's witnesses who had identified Rahim Boudran at the crime scene was credible. Furthermore, the judge said he didn't believe Boudran's claim that he was never at the scene of the murder. The Crown's main witness testified that on the night of the murder, she was sitting inside her house when she heard Rahim Boudran and his uncle arguing. During that time, she said that she also heard Rahim threaten his uncle. The two men will be sentenced on July 29th. Justice Sandcroft has ordered for a social inquiry and a psychiatric evaluation to be done on both men prior to sentencing. The prosecutor in the case was Reese Cattouse. There's a public warning being issued tonight from the financial sector about a phishing scam that's targeting Belizeans. The fraudulent practice of sending emails purporting to be from reputable companies, in this case the local banks, in order to induce individuals to reveal personal information, such as passwords and credit card numbers, is not a novel scheme. Over the years, scammers have proven themselves to be craftier and much more organized, easily deceiving persons who are out to make quick money without doing any due diligence on the so-called companies that are reaching out to them. Very recently, a social media post for an online job opportunity was flagged by the Belize Bank as part of an elaborate scheme being perpetrated by scammers operating outside the country. This morning, News 5 spoke with Chief Operations Officer Agatha Rutha, who explained how the swindle is being pulled off.
A week ago, we saw the job posting in the social media advising people to start a job with the very easy earnings. You can have $200 per little transaction that you will conduct for this company. The minute you click and you accept, you are being contacted by the company from the US, and they ask you several questions. They ask you for your CV, they ask you for your address, they ask you to share the banking details, everything covered up with the easy money that you will go and evaluate restaurants, you will act as a mystery shopper for them. So this is how they are recruiting the crew, right? The people who are actually the victims of the crime already. And then once they have the network of people who agreed, who are participating in the program, they start to send emails to the general public. Emails with the sense of urgency, right? Saying that your account has been debited. In order to cancel the transaction, click on the specific link. Your account has been blocked. In order to unblock it, click on the specific link or a button. The minute people are doing that, their device might be compromised. So when you click on the link, the page will appear asking you for the different credentials. Username, password, PIN, even the password to your email, right? Banks never do things like that. We never ask anybody for the password to their email address. but this is done on purpose. So the email address can be compromised by the scammer, and they can get into your email, they can confirm the transactions, right? That's why they do the very comprehensive collection of the credentials.
According to Ruta, customers are often ensnared when attempting to check their bank accounts online after realizing that they had shared key information on the phony website.
Some of the customers, they realize that something is off. And how you can realize that something is off? By looking at the domain in your browser. It's not Atlantic Bank or Belize Bank. You will have a odd domain with the stream of different letters, right? Then you have the different logos in the browser presented as well, right? Instead of our official bank's logos, you will have different ones. Just pretend that this is the financial institution. So some of the customers, they actually go ahead and provide the credentials. Some of them, they realize that something is not right, so they close the browser. However, you are still concerned because you know that something happened. So the minute you realize it, you want to go and check whether your funds are safe. And when your device is being compromised, this is when, through the login, you are providing also the credentials to the scammers. When the account is being compromised, then the transactions are going to the accounts, to the crew who participate in the program, right? Remember, in the WhatsApp messaging, they are providing the banking details. So this is the actually account numbers that they are using to transfer all of the money to. And then when the transfers go out, they message people immediately to go to the bank and withdraw money immediately. And they place a lot of urgency on these people as well, that you need to be fast, you need to go right now. The minute they go, they withdraw funds, they are instructed to take this money and transfer this money through remittances, money transfers, either Western Union or MoneyGram, outside of Belize.
Coming up, we continue our detailed look at the proposed minimum wage. Don't go away.
When the pins are aligned, there is no way you can miss. With its smooth, refreshing taste, all night long, Lighthouse is the perfect beer to shine on.
Shine on with Lighthouse Lager.
Currently, the price on diesel is $13.41. If government had kept the taxes how they were back in 2020 and the years before, the price of diesel at the pump would be $17.15. In the case of gasoline, regular gasoline, if government hadn't taken the action that it did, the price of regular gasoline would be $16.68. So those are huge differences, $16.68 as opposed to $13.50 and what it is right now. I'm not sure who would be driving around in their cars, or what would be the effect on the productive sector if those prices were allowed to remain where they would have been using the taxes of the past administration.
keep still now.
Ouch.
I tell you no move.
Ma, you really can't get a mannequin for this, ma? Really?
Well, son, if I never lend you the $2,000 to buy the kids' computer and the book, I may have the money for buy my mannequin.
It's definitely better to borrow from the bank than from your friends or relatives. This way, all you owe is money.
Would you like me to turn around?
That would be good. Turn on, turn on, turn on.
Take advantage of the back-to-school promotion currently being offered by the Belize Bank.
I am proud to be a Belizean.
I've always enjoyed the different flavors of my country. Every nook and cranny has its own unique taste.
Our history, rich with culture. We've come so far since our independence. Our flag, rivers, mountains, our people, diverse and strong.
Looking back, I am proud and honored. We must continue to preserve and conserve our culture and country for the next generation.
This is our Belize. Respect it, cherish it, love it.
On Tuesday evening, we began our comprehensive look at the proposed minimum wage adjustment and the process that is being undertaken to introduce a phased-in approach to the new $5 threshold. Earlier today, we spoke with Minister of Tourism Anthony Mahler, who sits on a cabinet subcommittee along with Junior Minister of Finance Chris Koyi and Minister of Labor Oscar Rikenya. Together, they are tasked with providing oversight for the implementation of the proposed change. In the context of the severe inflation, Mahler told News 5 that the $5 minimum wage is just a start.
The minimum wage has to be a livable wage. And all my research has shown that as you continue to increase the minimum wage, the quality of life improves for your people. But people will say, oh, it will be the cost of goods. Throughout history, that hasn't been the reality. And from my research and my readings, and I read reports from the World Bank and IMF and all of them that have looked at the minimum wage, and I support it fully. In fact, I think the process, we have to dialogue with all sectors involved, and to me, the process way too long, and we need to do it now.
Is $5 enough though?
It's a start. You have people working for $3 and 30
cents.
I mean, that is inhumane almost. Right? I mean, you talk about $1.15 US, right? That is why you have, and whenever they use that, then you come and say, oh, but look, you have growing GDP, right? So you have growing GDP. You say, oh, every year we have, oh, they go up, GDP, they go up. But at the same time, you have growing poverty.
Yeah.
That's not a recipe for disaster. That means only a small group at the top,
they grow,
and they make the money.
The Belize Chamber of Commerce and Industry is also represented on a government-appointed task force to carry out the minimum wage adjustment. BCCI President Marcelo Blake sits on the task force and told News 5 that consideration needs to be made for employees who are currently being paid at $5 an hour. Likewise, he agrees that the gradual implementation of the $5 benchmark allows for businesses to prepare themselves for the changes.
With the change, though, what we also have to consider is the fact that once we move upwards to that $5 over time, that in fact those who are already at that $5 wage will be looking for a possible increase, because I was hired with certain skill sets, and so certain skill sets are qualifications and experience that allowed me to earn at that level. and now you have others who now become entry level that are coming in now at the same wage I'm at. So what happens to me? All right. So there is that rippling effect and impact that has to be considered in the overall scheme of things. But for us, the formula will help to create that predictability, the adjustability, and also looking at how we then look at upskilling our workers in order for them to be able to be more productive. And it has to be equitable on both sides at the end of the day. We're of the opinion that with a formula, it will be a gradual increase until you get to the $5, which also ensures that businesses can then plan for those changes. So we aren't advocating for an overnight shift from $3.30 to $5. Definitely not. But we feel that there can be a middle ground where there's the increases that can be planned for, and then of course over a reasonable period of time that we do get to that $5 price point, salary range. And with the formula in place, like I said earlier, it gives the opportunity for that review to happen on a more frequent basis rather than waiting 10 years.
Last night, we told you about the increase in the price of premium gasoline, which now stands at over $17 per gallon. Today, we took to the streets of the old capital to ask motorists about their bloated monthly fuel budgets and the steps they are taking to curtail the additional expenses. We also explored the idea of switching to electric modes of transportation in place of fuel-powered vehicles. The necessary physical and legislative infrastructures are not yet in place to encourage a mass migration from fuel to electric vehicles. But as we found out, Belizeans are already exploring their options for electric-powered transportation. News 5's Paul Lopez reports.
Whether it's an electric vehicle, an electric bike, public transportation, or simply walking, it may be time to begin considering your options for more economic modes of transportation. Since the beginning of the year, the cost per gallon of regular gasoline has increased by over $2, while the price on a gallon of diesel has increased by approximately $3. A gallon of premium gasoline has seen an almost $7 increase in the first half of 2022. And the motorists we spoke with today in Belize City have certainly seen their monthly fuel budgets balloon.
Normally, I don't, because the car the engine they run good, I'll be grateful for that. But I just put in like 2 gallon, where does give me before that made like the $16, not 16 for the used to be like $12, right? And I was putting like every time I put in 25 for the day, right? Now I have to put in $25 the morning. Then wait 25 because before I run wrong. Yeah. Then at night I put in the next 25. So it carry me half day next day. So I use like $50 between one day or 2 days.
How have you been trying to curtail the cost of fuel? Maybe you're cutting into other parts of your budget. What are you doing?
Yeah, I have to spend less in some areas to make sure I have gas to go to work. And one of the things I do is to buy gas early in the morning. Unfortunately, I got sidetracked today, so I buy gas early in the morning when the gas is cool.
What does that do for you?
Well, it let the gas go in, the real gas go in and without any air. So you get the gas when it's fresh and cool. If you want to buy real gas, buy it early in the morning and tell the pump guy to put it in slow. What I do with my friends is that, oh, that's illegal, I can't say.
Okay.
They call me instead of the taxi guy. So that's what I do to try to help.
It's carpooling.
Yeah, carpooling.
Yeah, basically.
That's legal, right?
I have to stop here every minute and buy only $10 worth of gas. Because as they get over the bridge, the thing done. Especially the unleaded.
Yeah.
It is just fumes, right? So I don't understand what's going on, but we know what's going on in the world.
What are you trying to do to cut back cost?
What am I trying to do? What could I do? I have to ride my vehicle every day, and I have to run my errands. I have a business.
We also put these questions to our News 5 Live Facebook followers. The responses were varied. One user said she's no longer going out on pleasure rides and she now walks to the supermarket. Another follower responded by saying he does not keep track of his monthly fuel budget in order to keep his sanity. He has also cut back on joyrides. A third follower noted that she has relocated closer to work, a decision that she says has saved her hundreds of dollars on a weekly basis. Javier Canol traded in his pickup truck for an electric bicycle as his primary mode of transportation within Belize City.
I want to say it's one of the best investments I've ever done. I have this bike about a month, and since then, I stop catch bus, I stop catch taxi, I stop catch everything unless I have to move in bulk. But basically, it has a button that you can push, and automatically it gives you power. That power, if you just want to cruise, you can just move like a motorcycle. Most of the time, I try to use it as a bicycle due to the extent of my belly, you know, try pedal it, try stay in a shape and stuff. But it's actually, in times when I'm in a hurry and stuff, I switch on the button and it works.
Canol invested $1,800 to purchase the bicycle online and had it shipped to Belize. He says it can cost less if it is brought into the country by a relative or friend traveling from the US.
I'm not going to lie to you. When I got this bike, when I first got it, 1 week after, my mom lived in Sand Hill, just after boom cut off. And I said, I want to try to see how far it can go. And I charged it, and it took me all the way to Sand Hill, non-stop, just moving like a motorcycle. And it got me there within an hour, from here to there. So it takes me like 13 miles an hour to get there. And when I got there to recharge, and then I had to recharge, and I came back home to Belize.
Belize Electricity Limited has been making strides in increasing the availability of its EV charging stations, with plans to construct these stations in municipalities across the country. But with only 10 electric vehicles currently in country, according to reports, a drastic switch from fuel to electric-powered vehicles may be long in coming. In the meantime, Belizeans continue to find ways to cut costs.
If I have 3-4 things to do, I try to do them per one level so that I don't have to go here and then go there. And then if I just the gas may so good to me that I could have got a shop across the street in my car. Now I have to walk, which is good. But something has to be done with this gas.
Reporting for News 5, I am Paul Lopez.
The government of Belize has committed to continue keeping diesel and regular gasoline prices at their current levels. In a release issued today, GOB reiterated the various steps it says Cabinet has taken to, quote, cushion increases in the imported price of fuel products, which has raised substantially as a consequence of, among other developments, the war in Ukraine, unquote. The release highlights GOB's steps to fix the prices on diesel and regular gasoline since March of 2022, while reducing import duties on these fuels. Secondly, GOB says it has been engaging with Puma Belize Limited to ensure that they are acquiring fuel products at the lowest possible prices. As a third measure, tourism operators have been included in GOB's fuel cost relief program, but public transportation costs are being subsidized. But GOB says it is also losing $55,000 per day as a result of the import duty reduction, for a total of $20 million in loss by year's end. After the break, the Toledo Alcaldes Association responds to government statements on land issues in the South. But first, here is a look at the latest COVID-19 figures.
Get ready to tackle your yard with these lawn and garden products from Benny's. We have Scott's Turf Builder seed and fertilizer spreaders for thicker, richer lawns and gardens. Quench your plant's thirst with an assortment of Axi hoses and nozzles. Trimming hedges? That's easy when using Axi hedge shears. Imakasa rake and Vulcan heavy-duty lawn and leaf bags makes for easy cleanup. Keep away mosquitoes and other biting insects with the Burgess Insect Fogger. So get these lawn and garden products and more only at Benny's.
Celebrating 75 years of quality and savings.
Taking its name from the venerable father of the nation, the George Price Highway stretches 77 miles from Belize City to Benque Viejo. Originally built in the 1930s, this cross-country highway system is the artery that links Belize to Central America at the western border with Guatemala. That connection facilitates overland trade, supporting Belize's economic development. Winding its way across the scenic countryside, the George Price Highway, from Roaring Creek to Esperanza, has been fully reconstructed to meet international standards, with particular emphasis on road safety. A shorter and hassle-free commute is best enjoyed when everyone obeys the traffic laws. To reduce the number and frequency of road traffic accidents, it means that a seatbelt must be worn at all times, and the speed limit observed when traveling along the highway. It also means that pedestrians must use sidewalks and crosswalks where available. Buses should only board and discharge passengers at a designated bus stop. Road safety is everyone's responsibility. It begins with you.
It's a cool back to school with tech tools from Cellular World. Beat the heat with the best prices on back to school supplies ever. Phone starts as low as $59, tablets at $155, and Chromebook bundles starts at $549. So come on in and enjoy massive discounts, 1-year warranty on all Samsung Galaxy phones and tablets, and get free SIM card data and bonus credit on selected purchases only at your #1 tech provider, Cellular World. Visit us at our stores in Belize City, Belmopan, and San Pedro, or shop with us online by sending us a message on WhatsApp at 615-5141. Find the perfect back-to-school bundle from July 4th to August 13th, only at Cellular World.
Biodegradable plastics. When talking about plastic, don't you always hear people say that this plastic or that plastic is biodegradable, eco-friendly, environmentally friendly, green, or even ecological? Well, the truth is that these words and many others like them are often used to give the impression that the product is better for the environment. When shopping, the terms to look for are bio-based, compostable, or environmentally degradable plastics because they are tested against specific standards to ensure that they are broken down with minimal impacts to the environment. But what does biodegradable really mean? To put it simply, it is the breakdown of something into water, carbon dioxide, and biomass by the action of living organisms, usually bacteria or fungus. However, people call some plastics biodegradable, but they never fully break down because they still contain plastics made from petroleum or inorganic material. The plastics just break down into tinier pieces called microplastics, which then enter the food cycle through the ingestion by animals that people eat. Don't be fooled, check your labels. Click on the link below to see what you can do to help end the nightmare of single-use plastics. I'm Alison Castillo, and now you know.
On May 6, 2018, I suffered a hemorrhagic stroke, which is bleeding on the brain. When it happened, I went straight into a coma straight away. I flew out via air ambulance to Galenia Hospital. A week or two after waking up out the coma, I started doing therapy. They had me do therapy straight away. And I'm grateful for that because that is what made me start moving and walking again. And I got back to being normal. When I went back, I did a new CT scan. And the CT scan results showed no blood, no clot, no fluid on the brain. So I didn't require the surgery again. But I had 24-hour nurse service by my side to make sure that everything is okay with me. After I came back to Belize, they still reached out to me, asking me if everything is fine and how I'm doing, and making sure that if I have any issues, I can always go back, and I just keep contact with them. And I'm very grateful to all the doctors and nurses at Galenia for their hard work and dedication. They're the ones that have me here today.
Download the Smartstream app on the Android Play Store and create your account to get access to movies and stream at home or on the go. Prepaid customers can purchase regular data packages or get a discounted rate on a special Smartstream package by dialing 7737. Postpaid customers will be billed monthly. Never miss a movie again with Smartstream.
The Toledo Alcaldes Association has responded to the statement issued by government on Tuesday regarding concerns being raised by private landowners in Toledo District. The issue arises out of fear that in light of the ruling of the courts on Maya land rights in 2015, alcaldes and village chairpersons are being standoffish towards individual title holders, as well as other private entities. In a letter written by TAA President Domingo Ba, he chides the Minister of Indigenous Affairs, Dolores Balderramos Garcia, for the press release. Ba writes, quote, "The release has come to us as a surprise since, at the May 16th meeting, both sides committed to desist from issuing sensational public statements on matters affecting the implementation of the consent order. We note that the release offers no tangible assistance to any of the relevant parties and serves only to frame conflicts between villages and private landowners as fodder for the segments of the public that opposes the consent order and Maya land rights in Belize," unquote. The TAA's release ends by asking government to honor its pledge to respectful and constructive dialogue. During the first 5 months of 2022, 150,000 tourists have entered Belize via the international airport, about 20,000 through our two main land border crossings in the north and west, and 280,000 cruise ship visitors. Those are the official figures for the tourism industry that has been rebounding from the effects of the COVID-19 pandemic. Today, as News 5 sat down with Minister of Tourism and Diaspora Relations, Anthony Mahler, we found out that hotel revenues back in March were the highest in the history of the industry. And in the first 5 months of 2022, revenues collected have surpassed $180 million. At this rate, Mahler says that by the end of the year, tourism numbers should be back to 2019 levels.
They're still not quite back, but we're on the road to getting back to 2019 levels. Remember January and February and March, we were still in this Omicron phase and it was spreading like wildfire. And so that tapered some of the growth that we believe that we could have experienced for the first half. Also, you have a lot of labor issues, you have a lot of equipment issues. And so there are so many dynamics at play. But I think we have done well. We are outpacing the rest of the region. They're back to about 50 or 60%. We're closer to 72%. And I believe by the end of the year, we should be closer to where we were 2019. both cruise and overnight. And between the international airport and the two main borders, we're at about 170,000 in arrivals for the first 5 months of this year. And we believe that as we continue our marketing campaigns and our strategic focus on certain markets, that those numbers will increase as well. We're not seeing the slowdown as we used to for the slower part of the period or slower part of the season, but we will continue to focus on those specific markets to ensure that we have heads in beds, as you say.
The COVID pandemic brought the cruise tourism industry to a screeching halt in 2020. To secure the health of the country, Belize implemented strict protocols and we were able to see a few port calls being made. Fast forward to 2022 and calls to port in the city and southern Belize are up. The number of ships coming to our shores is expected to go up as cruise lines have expressed interest in increasing their routes to Belize. Minister Mahler says that the work has begun.
Cruise during that whole COVID period, or the height of it, we supported the cruise lines in terms of working with them with the protocols to have people travel safe. In fact, we had a lot of criticisms when we accepted some ships that were rejected in other parts of the Caribbean, but nothing happened in terms of them coming and creating any spread of COVID. We had the data and we had the information and we felt comfortable. So the cruise lines are very focused on how they can build their numbers to Belize. Now, you don't build numbers to Belize by yourself, no? We're not a Bahamas or Cozumel that you do those trips to there. We're on an itinerary. So for cruise, I've spoken to the Minister of Tourism in Mexico, and we're going to talk to the people in Honduras for us to come together and set up new itineraries and go after the ships as a block. And I think that will work. We're also focusing on the smaller cruise lines because we believe that they bring less people and so less impact on the environment, but they spend a lot and they're high end. And so we're trying to attract some more of them. And we believe that by the end of this year or early next year, we should have one or two more smaller cruise lines coming in and navigating through our waters.
Just last week, we reported on a visit to Belize by tourism officials from Mexico. The delegation was headed by Mexico's Secretary of Tourism, Miguel Torruco Marquez, who met with Minister of Transport Rodwell Ferguson, as well as Minister of Tourism and Diaspora Relations, Anthony Mahler, and his team. The visit was to improve tourism relations between both countries and explore potential investments. In looking at the possibility of tapping into the Mexican market, which has 128 million people, Minister Mahler says that they are also focusing on the Central American and Caribbean regions.
Mexicans dive and snorkel a lot too, you know, from our research. I think the entire Central America and Mexico is underserved in terms of tourism here in Belize. Accessibility is a problem, so direct flights. Kudos, to Troublemaker for putting in some of those flights. Those flights have helped. We only get 7,000 Mexicans coming to Belize overnight, and we believe that we can grow that number exponentially. But there are no direct flights from Mexico City or any major city in Mexico other than the tropic flight from Cancun. And that caters to mostly tourists coming in from other parts of the world, mainly Europe and Asia. And so we have been talking to the Mexican airlines, and we're very, very close to getting one of them to come into Belize.
Outside of Central America, the Central American region, we're also thinking about maybe the Caribbean, seeing how that could possibly happen too.
Well, we're a different kind of product, and all the Caribbean people who have come to Belize have been amazed. In fact, I took the Minister of Tourism from Mexico to fly over the Blue Hole, and he and his delegation were in amazement of what they saw. The same thing when Caribbean people come to Belize and they see the diversity and the archaeological sites And we have the Reef and San Pedro, Kikaka, Placencia, Hopkins, St. Bite, all of these places, Corozal, and the Cayo District, Mountain Pine Ridge, they are in awe of what we have. None of those islands, none of them have the diversity like we do. But accessibility is an issue again. Most of them have to go through the United States and through Miami, and the flights from Miami are very expensive right now. That's something that we're working on.
Speaking about airlifts into Belize, airline companies have resumed their routes to the Jewel. Air Alaska recently announced increasing their capacity into Belize, and there have been up to 27 flights into the Philip Gosen International Airport on Saturdays. Minister Mahler says that along with the Belize Tourism Board, they are trying to improve ease of access for travelers wanting to visit Belize, including a direct flight from the UK into the PGIA.
Accessibility to any destination is important. You have to have, well, the hotel stock, and you have to have the air routes. The more air routes you have, the more tourists you can bring in, and it's easier for people to get on. If I have to make multiple stops to come to a destination, then but if I have one direct flight to come to a destination, then it's easier for people to get to the destination. We're not only focusing on Mexico and this region in terms of improving airlifts. We are also looking at Europe. We believe that, again, if we get a direct flight from either London or Amsterdam or Frankfurt or one of those cities, we can grow the numbers exponentially from Europe. I saw a statistic the other day that is crucial for me. You have about 70 million Brits, and from that population, they took 93 million trips internationally in 2019, I believe. You have 350 million Americans, and from that number they took close to 45 million trips. And so
the UK market is the way to go.
If you have a direct flight, we believe that we can grow the numbers exponential, and we have been seeing a growth of about 15% year over year before COVID struck.
The mandatory tourism insurance for entering Belize has seen travelers pay $18 for coverage for incidentals. It was specifically set for visitors who would be left with hotel and medical bills if they were to contract COVID while on vacation. But with the ease of restrictions and the pandemic slowing down, the Belize Tourism Industry Association and the Belize Hotel Association believe that the insurance is no longer necessary. Minister of Tourism and Diaspora Relations says that since its implementation in February of this year, travelers have taken advantage of the insurance. 1/3 has been for COVID. So Minister Mahler's recommendation is for it to be optional for travelers to purchase, and this will be presented at the next cabinet meeting on July 12th.
Both major associations for the industry are now saying that maybe it's time for us to move it. But I have come to see the value of it because I see the claims and all of that. I asked for a report the other day from dog bite to trauma to the head, a broken leg, broken hand. But 1/3 of the claims have been for COVID. Okay. So close we started the middle of February, I think.
Yeah.
And so 1/3 of all claims have been for COVID.
So you see the importance of it. So maybe.
But I listen to the industry, and I make decisions based on consultation with the industry. So if the major players within the industry are saying that maybe it's time for us to remove it, maybe we just leave it as an optional thing for people to buy.
We will have more from this exclusive interview with Minister Mahler in Thursday's newscast as he speaks about the excitement around the Belize International Food and Music Festival, the fuel subsidy program, and an initiative to develop Belizean artists. When we return, a 5-year-old needs your help to cover a life-saving surgery. But first, here's the weather forecast with data from the Belize Met Service.
When all hope is lost and the days ahead look grim, we find ourselves looking for someone to shake things up, rescue us, and point us in the right direction. What if the one we've been waiting for has been here all along? Join us for our new series, Troublemaker, as we learn about a man who wasn't afraid to stand up for what's right to make this world a better place.
Keep still now.
Ouch.
I tell you no move.
Wow. You really can't get a mannequin for this, man? Really?
Well, son, if I never lend you the $2,000 to buy the kids' computer and the book, I may have the money for buy my mannequin.
It's definitely better to borrow from the bank than from your friends or relatives. This way, all you owe is money.
Would you like me to turn around?
That would be good. Turn on, turn on, turn on.
Take advantage of the back-to-school promotion currently being offered by the Belize Bank.
After 2 long years, the wait is finally over. Your Tuesday night entertainment is back.
KTV.
KTV The Remix Season 4. On Tuesday, July 12th, we go live. And the best seat is at the Bliss. Come on out and win fabulous prizes and the chance to compete in our halftime challenge. Tickets are available at Channel 5 on Coney Drive at $3 for children and $5 for adults. Mask will be required. Or you can watch it live on Channel 5 or streaming on Facebook. The show starts at 8 p.m. at the Bliss Center for the Performing Arts. KTV The Remix Season 4. It's hot, it's live, and it's only on 5.
ABC Life Support will be hosting a basic first aid course for children ages 8 to 15 years old. The program is scheduled for July 22nd from 8 a.m. until 2 p.m. Javier Canul, the lead instructor at ABC Life Support, is of the belief that children can play a critical role in emergency situations until professional help arrives. He spoke with us today about the training and what interested participants can expect.
We came up with this idea because it's an idea that was been there for a long time. It's been on the back burner. People didn't see it as a priority, but I've always seen it as a priority since I deal with a lot of kids. And I always believe that children will one day save your life because they are as innocent as they look. They learn quickly and they know exactly what to do if you teach them the right procedure. Some of the basic skills they will learn are basically hands-on CPR. That's the number one. Also, they'll be learning how to open an airway and how to stop the bleed. Those are the 3 most important things that can save anybody's life. All right, so we need to know how to open an airway so that they can breathe, how to stop a bleeding, and how to start CPR until professional help can get there. And that's what they need to know. Many times we see patients, I've been as an experienced provider, I've gone to homes, I see children sitting around, look lost, don't know what to do, when they could have been the person who could have started the process until the professionals get there. And so with this in mind, we want everybody to know that your child is important. They can save your life.
You can visit the ABC Life Support page on Facebook or contact Javier Canul at 628-7999 for more information. A 5-year-old child needs your help in order to undergo a life-saving surgery at the KHMH. Kimara McGregor was born with hydrocephalus, which is a buildup of water on the brain. Since then, she has needed a shunt to be inserted in her head to reduce the amount of pressure the fluid causes on her brain. But now the shunt needs to be replaced, and her mother says it could not have happened at a worse time.
She started with swelling of her eyes and pain in her head, vomiting, loss of appetite. That was from the 12th of June, yes. I brought her to hospital the 15th of June. With the same symptoms, they send us back home. She was all right. They treat her for allergic reaction because apparently she drank pineapple juice, and she kind of allergic to the pineapple. So when I brought her here, they treat her for that, send us home, and the following Sunday, the symptoms start to appear again. Take her to medical, the same thing, treat her for the allergic reaction. Had to come back here the following Monday.
Why?
The symptoms was still there, complaining of the headache and everything. Now, when I reach here, they started to treat her for meningitis. They said she had an infection in the brain that is causing her to have the pain in her head. But they say that no, it's not really meningitis because the lab results come back negative for any bacteria, or virus, or fungus.
Nicholson says after the allergic reaction, Kimara now needs to have the shunt in her head replaced. The life-saving procedure and the accompanying therapy and time already spent receiving treatment will require the family to find funds they do not have. They are planning a turkey dinner sale this Friday, but donations are also needed.
She needs to do the surgery because of the pressure that the liquid is doing on her brain. So my family and I are doing a turkey dinner to help raise funds for her medical expenses. So if anyone would like to help in any way, we would greatly appreciate it, because it's really hard, and she's a very smart girl.
If anyone would like to help baby Kimara with donations, you can contact her mother, Rebecca Nicholson, at 626-0270 or WhatsApp her at 606-2766. Just ahead, the Caricom conference concludes in Suriname.
Applying for a Social Security sickness benefit? Here's what you need to know. A complete claims package include 1. Sickness claim form fully completed by the claimant and medical doctor. 2. Salaries record form completed by the employer or HR representative. 3. Proof of bank account such as bank book, online banking, or statement displaying your name and account number. To submit via email, you need to take a clear photo or scan of the documents and email to claims@socialsecurity.org.bz. Be sure to include your full name, social security number, and benefit type in the subject line of the email. Deadline to submit is 14 days from your first day of illness. All forms are available on the website at www.socialsecurity.org.bz. Social Security Board, safeguarding you, your family, your future.
Dwayne Moody, Isani Cayetano, Marian Ali, Paul Lopez. Your News 5 Belize teams do whatever it takes, go wherever they need to go, so you can catch the story wherever you are, whenever you want, on whatever device. Channel 5 Belize on television, Facebook, Instagram, and YouTube. Because news is now everywhere, all the time. And so are we.
I'm always on the go, and the country is my home. So when I want to get away from it all, I immerse myself with my favorite movies, all from the new Smartstream app. It's easy to use this service. Purchase your movies from the app and use your mobile data, Smartstream data packages, or smart broadband to stream and enjoy. Be like me and stream on the go with Smartstream.
Off goal, what a goal from Leo Messi! What an incredible strike from Leo Messi! Neymar and Messi is standing over this. Messi! Off goal, what a goal from Leo
Great entertainment stays with you, and we bring you great entertainment. Next Gen, the ultimate digital experience.
The 43rd regular meeting of Caricom heads of government ended with a press conference on Tuesday. Prime Minister John Briceño handed over the chairmanship of Caricom to President Chan Santoki of Suriname. President Santoki led the press conference with an overview of all that were accomplished over the last 3 days of deliberations. Scaling up the region's climate finance in an effort to build greater resilience, as well as the political instability in Haiti, was among the topics discussed. Here is President Santoki.
We agreed to adopt a two-pronged strategic program of action to scale up climate finance towards building our resilience. This would entail focused and active advocacy underpinned by a regional coordinating mechanism and national capacity building to source and utilize climate finance. We also agreed that the resource mobilization strategy would include support from the Caribbean Development Bank to mobilize development finance. We would also advocate strongly for the allocation of concessional finance more fairly and equitable. This is a matter we impressed upon the United Nations Secretary General, and he was very critical on this topic, and he had promised his support to our community. The Secretary General Guterres also assured the conference of his continued support in efforts to obtain debt relief, to reform international financial system, and towards the use of a multidimensional vulnerability. We received an update on the situation in Haiti and exchanged views with Prime Minister Henry, and we took the opportunity to express grave concern at the deteriorating security situation in Haiti. And the Prime Minister had responded also that his country is looking for more support and is also calling for starting a dialogue on national level to include all the people, all the institutions, and all the stakeholders to discuss a stable and a good future for Haiti. We agreed that the Bureau of Conference of Caricom will be expanded and will include also the Prime Minister of St. Vincent and the Grenadines, Prime Minister of Barbados, the Prime Minister of Jamaica, and also that we should express joint leadership, collective leadership towards Haiti. And there is a team of ministers of foreign affairs. The COFCOR will take the lead. And we have decided in Belize that a team of Caricom, under leadership of the Secretary General, should visit Haiti as a site visit and also to examine the situation in Haiti.
President Santoki also spoke on the decision taken by the Caricom's heads of government as it pertains to the region's agri-food agenda and the free movement of skilled laborers within the single market economy. Among the resolutions taken are the removal of all non-tariff barriers to inter-regional trade and the removal of all barriers to the free movement of skilled workers.
We continue to pursue our agri-food agenda to enhance our food and nutrition security and to achieve the 25 by 2025 vision, the reduction of the food import bill by 25% by 2025. In that regard, we mandated the Council for Trade and Economic Development to conclude by the end of this month the programs aimed at removal of all non-tariff barriers to intra-regional trade, particularly agriculture goods. With regard to CSME, we agreed to definitions of and qualifications for household, domestic, and agricultural workers and security officers, which are agreed categories for free movement within the Caribbean. We also agreed to move on the mutual recognition of companies incorporated within the members of the single market. So, ladies and gentlemen, we had agreed in the past the free movement of the skilled nationals to give them the opportunity to work in the member states of the Caribbean nations. And now we have approved also labors which are not really the skilled labors, but labors we need in our countries, in our sister nations, and that we have removed all the barriers for them.
Agricultural labor.
Agriculture and also security officers.
And that's the news. Tonight's broadcast is available in both text and streaming video at channel5belize.com. You can also connect with us on our Facebook page at facebook.com/News5Live. I'm Sabrina Daly. Thanks for joining us. And from all of us here at News 5, please remember to wash your hands, keep your social distance, and stay safe. Good night.